Hi, welcome. I'm so honored to be here with you. It's just such a privilege that you have come here to spend some time with me, but also with yourself today. And I really appreciate you coming and allowing me to be the one to guide you. So, this practice is about preparing ourselves for change. Now, if we're paying attention, we realize that things are changing and shifting every moment of the day. But some of those bigger things that were used to happening, that, the more solidified things in our lives, like our house, like where we live, where we work, all of that, it can be really jarring when we have changes around those big things. So today we're going to take some time to get still, to move, to find out what it is that you are really needing in order to be prepared for changes in your life. And I'm going to go ahead and say positive changes in your life, um, because that's what we're going for. We're going to envision that the changes that come into your life are for the best. They are there for you, provided for you. So let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat on our mat, if you have a mat. And I always invite um, anyone that's practicing with me to be comfortable, always. First things first, you have to feel good to be able to focus on yourself. So if you need a block, go ahead and take that hot dog style underneath your sits bones. You can try Sukhasana or easy. It's the pose of ease. It's not easy for everyone, I realize. So you can try Sukhasana, cross-leg position, or you can also take a block and you can do it long ways underneath your sits bones and try hero's pose. So this is nice with the block underneath, I've found, because it gives you that feeling of being straight on, but your knees are not having to take on any weight because the weight is on your sits bones and it's on that block, and that block is bringing the ground up to you. So we won't worry about any of the the beautiful external distractions right now. We may even go ahead and close our eyes so that we don't have to think about them. So go ahead and find that feeling of groundedness underneath your pelvis. And if you need to move around, maybe even rocking forward towards your pubic bone to move the flesh out from underneath you, maybe just moving around to get comfortable if you are sitting on a block and you're not quite used to it. And just embrace that. Embrace that discomfort, because you know what that is? It's learning. And I want to take a moment to really honor you and your willingness to learn how to do something new, or how to be someone new. How to allow yourself to be changing moment to moment and not be beheld to the vision of you that someone else may have, or maybe it's just the vision that you think they have of you. So honor that in yourself. Honor that discomfort of trying something new. And if you have sat here in either Sukhasana or Virasana, hero's pose, before hundreds of times, what new element can you bring to it? Let's just sink into that feeling. What are some physical things that we can do to allow ourselves to become anchored in this newness, while also allowing ease? So maybe we can take the breath, just breathe it in softly through the nose. Maybe we allow any kind of anxious feeling or tightness to just release out through the mouth like a big sigh. can allow any kind of noise that needs to get out of you during this practice. Please allow that vibration in your throat. Maybe it's more guttural, maybe it's around your gut. Maybe you need to just like let out a big yell right now. Ah! That's my like Miss Piggy yell. Sorry if that caused some discomfort. So notice that. Notice if someone else's exclamation of what's true for them at this moment triggers you, if it makes you feel frustrated or anxious. Notice that. And then can we breathe some space into it and around it, over it and through it. A great friend of mine was talking to me the other day. He's super smart engineer, very down-to-earth kind of type, and you know how I am, y'all. I'm all ethereal and up in the air. But he said anything in too big of a potency level is harmful. So everything in moderation. So can we disperse any of those tight feelings, any of those angry, frustrated feelings? Can we use our breath at this moment and imagine those feelings dissipating, becoming so small? You can feel into the intensity of them. Do that, but then take a breath right into that space where you're feeling the intensity. Maybe it's in your hip space or your gut or your throat or your heart or your head. But find where it's so much more concentrated. And then breathe into that space and just imagine whatever that emotion looks like for you. Maybe it's a color or it's a material. Imagine it getting smaller, like breaking up into a million little pieces with your breath as you bring the space in between those molecules. And you can even imagine it moving out of your mouth as you release it, as you give it permission to dissipate and leave your body. And if you're feeling any discomfort in your body, maybe you give yourself permission to change your position. What if right now you need to lay on your back? What if right now you need to lay on your belly? Would that be okay? What if you need to stand up? What if you need to lift your arms over your head and devote this dissolving of violence within you? What if you need to devote that to someone bigger than you, to something bigger than you? Can you give yourself permission to break free from the mold? What if you imagined that you could breathe joy in through your nose? What would that feel like? What if you imagine that you could bring that joy out into the world around you through your exhale? What if your presence is actually a gift? We may be uprooting some things right now. We may be shining a flashlight on some beliefs that you didn't know you had. And again, we're going to allow for those new learnings. Or if there's a numbness and you don't feel anything at all, then you're going to allow that this doesn't apply to you, but that it may apply to others. can always make the lesson applicable to you if you're willing and open and curious. A couple more breaths and let any kind of audible sounds that need to come out, come out. Whew. Good. Okay. Let it go. Shake it out. Let's go ahead and get up. There's lots of ways to get up. I want you to find a functional way. So if that's moving through a tabletop position, you can try that. Maybe rocking back onto the feet, walking the hands in. I like to kind of just slow it down and make sure that you're aligned and everything feels good as you're rising. I'm going to fix a little thing. Siri thought that I was asking her a question, but no, I'm talking to you guys, not the technology, even though it's listening. Anyway, we're just going to swish it out, you guys. We've got some big things rolling up and through us, around us. We're going to roll with it. We're going to mix it up. And again, we're thinking of those molecules, all those little molecules that we were breathing space into. Now we're just swirling them around us. We're pressing them away from us. Maybe we need to get a little bit firmer through the arms, like we're fanning that out. So let any kind of elements come in to help you out now. Like maybe we're burning it out and we're breathing in lots more oxygen. So we get this flame of purification wherever we were feeling that stuck place in our body. Feed that flame. You can imagine that you're bringing wind in through your body to feed the flame and allow that purification to spread all through you, burning away any toxicity that you don't want in your space. Good, let it go. Let's take a few breaths to just take the shoulders up toward the ears and down the back. This can be really small, this can be little bitty circles, just really focusing in on the circle. I want you to go ahead and individuate through each shoulder. Notice if one shoulder feels tighter than the other. Just noticing non-judgment there. And then take your hands onto the shoulders like a supportive little good job, you're good, I've got you, and let the shoulders come up and let them come down your back. And then let's switch it out. Let's keep the hands on the shoulders, but switch out whichever your top arm was, and then bring the shoulders now back and then up towards your ears. And this might feel a little bit confining, but just allow it. Maybe this can feel like a hug for you. Maybe you need to get the hands up a little tighter. Maybe you can even use your fingers and just massage into any tender places. Give yourself the touch that you wish that your partner would know that you needed. And then, take a big breath into it. Deep into your legs now. Let's breathe into your feet. If you can even imagine taking a breath down into your feet as you work through these knots that may be in your shoulders and through your neck. Good. Okay, and now we'll get that movement going again. You can release your hands down. Take the shoulders back and up and around. Back, up, around. Maybe you breathe into that circle. And then let's go one shoulder at a time, because it's always the case that we're doing something with this hand. And so we use this hand to hold that baby. And then our shoulders aren't getting the same movement side to side. So we're going to allow ourselves to balance out. Good. Woo! Shake it off. You can shake it out through your legs, through your ankles. You can bounce around. Shake it up, shake it up. We don't have any haters up in here. We're good. You know they're gonna hate. a warrior two stance. And I want you to think of this as the goddess warrior. And when I say that, I mean the goddess energy, in that we are going to just love the crap out of our femininity right now. How is that for an expression? Love the crap out of it. So you're going to take your arms into goal pose here, and you're going to keep your shoulders over the hips. So you're open. I'm open toward the right side. I'm not sure which side you're open to, but that's okay. So open up those elbows. See if you can kind of reach the elbows out and away from you. Take a big breath into that opening. Good, and then we're gonna exalt ourselves in this position, in our warriorship, which is soft. So can you push down into your feet and allow your spine, all along the spine, all along the shoulders, to just be soft. Take your back hand to the low back, and then lift your front arm up and over. We're opening up that side body on the same side as your front leg with that bend in the knee. The knee is bent right over the ankle. And you can even take a little gaze. Make sure that as you're adding on this torso movement, the knee stays fixed, like it's in some nice comforting thick clay. You're getting a little skin treatment on that leg. And then come on back up. We're going to extend the front leg and then come down toward that extended front leg and open up your body. Open up that top side to the sky. Big breath. You can always take this a little bit higher. We're thinking long waist here. Noticing your neck. Notice where your gaze is. Maybe you need to take it down towards your front foot. Maybe you notice as you look down towards your front foot that the blade edge of your foot is not parallel to the mat. And so you can adjust that and allow for that positive change. Maybe you want to look up to the sky for one more big breath. Good, and then go ahead and lift it up. I want to pivot here. So we're going to push into the back foot, push the weight into the back foot. That's our prep. And then see how I'm going to slide that front foot. So toes are now parallel to one another. And then we're going to take a wide leg forward fold, dipping the heart forward, keeping the spine nice and long. Chin is in towards your chest so that you can find the length from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. So we're pausing in half lift here and feel the hamstrings, getting a nice stretch. I want you to really focus in on your feet, pressing into the blade edges, and then evening out that press and push back into the ball, big toe ball side of your foot. Whoa. If things start sliding and shifting, just breathe into it. And then if it feels good, you can go ahead and fold all the way down. You can take your hands to the ground, or this might be a good opportunity for you to have a block underneath, and you can take your hands onto that block. We're going to let the spine go. You can always stay in a higher half lift position if it's too much for you to be rounded here. When we're in a fold, we're folding into ourselves, and we want to think of the fold as a hinge in the hips, okay? So it's really crisp, that hinge. You're lifting the tailbone up toward the sky, and you're allowing the torso to come on down, that crisp edge. And then releasing the hands down. You can walk yourself over toward the right side. Notice when the opposite leg might want to bend or let off the ground, and you're going to re-firm in. You're going to anchor back down into that opposite leg. And then take yourself back to the center. Soften up through the kneecaps if they start to lock, and come on back over to the other side. See if you can let your head go. Good, and then you're going to come on back. Start to rise up. So let's take that half lift and then come on up with the rest of your torso. Turn your opposite foot now is going to face the other side of your mat for warrior two on the other side. So your back foot, the blade edge right underneath the pinky toe, those two little knuckles that you have there, that's the part that's going to be parallel to the back of your mat. Then your front knee is going to come right over the front heel. Good. And then we're going to take the arms. First, extend them out and feel that opening. Your heart is open. Your shoulders right over your hips. Good. And then turn the palms to face the sky, and then take those goddess arms. Like we're going to take in everything we need in these arms. See if you can like breathe your favorite color into these arms and the space that you're creating with them, into the goal. So like I used to hate pink and purple. My grandma and my aunt would always get me pink and purple stuff. And at the time, like I was trying really hard to get my dad to love me, so I couldn't like any girly things in my mind because I thought he wanted a boy. So now I let myself enjoy pink. Like I really like pink, and it reminds me of my grandma. So it's a positive thing for me. So I'm filling this with pink right now. That's why I get all giggly, because then Mimi comes and she's like, hey Kara, you're doing so great at everything. I'm like, thanks Mimi. Okay, taking that back hand down to the small of your back. Reach your front hand forward and up. Keep the bend in that front knee. Remember, we've got it in like some kind of healing clay, okay? That leg is cast up there. And then you're allowing the breath to come in as you root down through your feet. Feel the lift through your front body. Exalting yourself. You are a good person. You are good. You are inherently good to the depths of you. Let that sink in. And then come on back down. We're going to straighten the front leg and then dip yourself down toward that front leg, keeping your top shoulder open. Just feel into that. See if you can unlock the kneecaps again, pressing into those feet. See if you can notice that planting of the feet and then the lift of the hips away from the feet. And this might get spicy. You might need to come in and out of it. It's totally fine. Noticing the gaze. Maybe it comes down to the front foot. You get a little shoulder stretch there. Maybe bringing the chin down toward your chest. And then you can also try lifting that gaze up toward the sky. See what that does for your posture and for your breathing. One more big breath. Woo! And take it up high. Good. Turning those toes in. We're going to come back into that wide leg stance. We're going to sit the seat way back behind us, letting a bend come into the knees. Check out my knees. And then we're going to just slide side to side. So noticing we're going to keep this right angle in the bent leg. And then floating over to the other side. So you're like that roller skater. Super cool. Or you're an ice skater. I know I'm probably going to have some Canadians watching this at some point. I hope so. Breathe into it and really float. 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 So ground. Get solid in your character, in what you want in life, and then float up through the change. Float up and over, and then sink back in. Get clear again. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your heels digging in. Feel your tailbone reaching back. And then, time to change again. Float. Float. Breathe. Float. Breathe. One more time each side, floating over. Good. Come back to the center. Beautiful. Coming into your Tadasana for a moment. I want you to just take a moment to stand. So we're going to line up the outsides of the feet so they're parallel with the outside of the mat, your hip width distance. How many times do you stand here during the day? How many times do you stand? Right? So what that means is you have so many neurons that are devoted to you standing. So if we start also adding in, whenever I stand like this, I'm going to think about my alignment. I'm going to make sure the weight's moving back toward my heels. I'm going to make sure that I have my feet facing forward so that it's very clear about where I'm going. When the feet are out like this, your brain's really confused about where you want to go. And it's okay. It's probably going to take baby steps. If you're a person with feet out to the sides or they're off a little bit, like that is years and years of conditioning that's in your body, but it's the equivalent of like a car driving with its tires pointing the wrong way. So, how long do you think that that car could drive before it's going to need some serious maintenance, right? So, that's where we are right now. We're getting that maintenance done, and we're taking the baby steps to get back into our alignment. Good. So soften through your kneecaps. Think of releasing your tailbone back behind you. All this seems really simple, but stick with me. Simple is great, isn't it? Oh my gosh, simple is beautiful. Okay, so we're letting that tailbone release back. We're lifting up off of the low back, holding up our own weight with our muscles here, and then let the bottom of your rib cage anchored down. You're going to kind of feel your head slump forward, and that's okay. Then you're going to lift the crown of your head back up so the chin is slightly down. And now breathe into it. It's probably going to feel a little shaky. Just keep breathing. Here you are, you're in this new situation. You're learning a new way to stand up for yourself. So allow any discomfort. Breathe into any discomfort. Give it permission to dissipate and leave your body. You could even thank yourself for giving you the time to take care of you and to learn something new. It's really challenging when we think of changing the world around us, but we can make it simple by starting with ourselves. Just like when we were at the beginning, we're bringing in the joy. We're letting the joy out into the world. Breathing in the joy. Letting it out into the air around us. If you don't feel joyful in your body at this moment, see if you can find a memory where you felt so good, where you felt celebrated and proud. Maybe you were surrounded by people who loved you, who still love you. Take yourself to that space. Take yourself to that feeling. What were the smells in the air? Was there a taste on your lips? Was there a touch? A supportive and safe touch? Did you feel like you could safely touch someone else in that moment? Did you feel aligned? If you feel led, I would love for you to come down into Shavasana, lying on your back. When we come into Shavasana, it's our final relaxation. We take our feet a little bit wider than our hips. We take the shoulder blades underneath the heart space. If you'd like to end this practice standing, however, you can. You can just walk into your day from here. So find whatever you're needing. If you're needing to take a stand, stay standing, and we'll end it out. If you're needing to lie down and rest and recharge yourself before you take your stand and walk out into the earth, into the space around you, then you take that option for yourself. You have to be the one to decide. I can't make the decision for you. I'm going to to go ahead and be my blessing, wish you the best. If you're taking that Shavasana, just stay laying on the ground for as long as you need. And I encourage you to do a body scan, just giving your mind some work to do for your healing so that it doesn't pester you. So you can just move through your body piece by piece, starting with the toes, the feet, the ankles, the legs, the knees, the hips, the belly, the rib cage, the shoulders, the hands, elbows, neck, throat, vocal cords, face, head. And you can get as detailed as you would like to, or you can do just a quick little scan. Whatever your choice is today, the light, the love, and the teacher within me sees and honors the light, the love, and the teacher within you.